KSDK. This is News Channel 5.
Good evening. Big news tonight in New Mexico.
I'm Randy Jackson in Albuquerque, and the manhunt is over for 42-year-old Dennis Rabbit, the so-called Southside rapist. He was arrested at this Albuquerque motel about 10 o'clock this morning. Authorities investigating a missing 15-year-old zeroed in on Rabbit and ended this 4-month-long manhunt. I'll have the complete details in a live report coming up tonight at 10 from Albuquerque.
Join us for News Channel 5 immediately after Alice in Wonderland.
It was a magical year, the likes of which we have never seen before. Mark McGwire broke baseball's most cherished record by hitting 70 home runs. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Bush in Jupiter, Florida with the Cardinals, and my special guest tonight on Sports Plus will be Mark McGwire.
There's a goal of mine is to reach 500, and I'm 43 away.
Plus, the arena comes down, but the memories live on. We'll look back at some of the greatest moments. It's Sports Plus tonight at 10:30.
Next on News Channel 5 at 10, the man police call the Southside rapist is in custody tonight.
I'm Randy Jackson live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the flight of Dennis Rabbit is over. I'll have a live report.
And St. Louisans pay their last respects to the old barn. The news is next. Next on News Channel 5 at 10, the search for the suspected Southside rapist ends with an arrest in New Mexico. We'll have a live report tonight from Albuquerque. Plus, hear why an alleged victim of the Southside rapist says it's time to reveal her identity. The news starts now.
This is News Channel 5 at 10.
So, a big sigh of relief today?
Very big. Very big. I just hope they're not making a mistake. I hope they have the real Dennis Rabbit.
A national manhunt ends in New Mexico tonight with the capture of the suspected Southside rapist. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Fowler.
And I'm Kay Quinn. Our top story tonight, the arrest of Dennis Rabbit. Tonight you will learn how the manhunt ended in New Mexico after 4 months.
You will also hear from one of his alleged victims who reveals her identity for the first time, and from Rabbit's daughter, who begged her father to turn himself in.
We begin our team coverage tonight in Albuquerque, where News Channel 5's Randy Jackson joins us live from the Freeway Inn in front of the room where Dennis Rabbit has lived since he fled St. Louis. Randy?
Well, Kay and Jeff, I am in front of that room. As a matter of fact, some of the fingerprint powder is still left here from the forensic technicians that were out here most of today. He was a man on the run from both police and his victims, but now in the deep Southwest, his run is over. Dennis Rabbit's flight for freedom ended at this $27 a night Albuquerque motel, the subject of a nationwide manhunt for almost 4 months. The man dubbed the Southside rapist had been living here all the time. This motel registration he filled out shows he's been using the name Tom Watson with a High Ridge, Missouri address. Shortly after 10 o'clock this morning, police searching for a missing 15-year-old girl walked into room 117 and came face to face with Rabbit.
Information I received from the FBI is he's a serial rapist, and his victims have been anywhere from 14-year-old girls to 90-year-old females.
After a short foot chase, Rabbit was handcuffed and the teenage girl taken to a local hospital for observation. At first, investigators say Rabbit gave his false name, but his social security number tied him to a string of outstanding warrants.
People that are wanted by the law flee to extreme places, and for somebody from St. Louis, this is a long ways away.
Albuquerque investigators seized evidence from Rabbit's motel room and his car, the red sedan believed to have been purchased in St. Louis just before he disappeared November 6th. Neighbors living next door who were too scared to be identified said they couldn't believe they were living next to a fugitive.
I'm glad he's out of here. I mean, you can't trust anybody. I mean, even if they're quiet, clean, you know, not a loud person, you know, you just can't trust anybody.
Unknowingly, the 15-year-old girl may have led police to one of America's most wanted. Detectives found a piece of paper in her bedroom with Rabbit's motel and room number on it. The room number of the man, DNA says, is the Southside rapist. Now tonight, back here in Albuquerque, investigators are trying to find out how Rabbit may have come in contact with that 15-year-old girl. One theory, and we stress it is only a theory right now, he may have met her over the internet. And we have also learned from police that a series of rapes here in Albuquerque, thought to be gang-related during the last couple of months, will be compared and checked against Rabbit's DNA and also his method of operation to see if the alleged rapist may have left his ugly mark here in the Albuquerque area as well as in the St. Louis area. We also understand that St. Louis police investigators will be meeting with Rabbit either tonight or tomorrow, and perhaps we will get some idea about extradition proceedings when they may come, if at all. back to the St. Louis area. Reporting live from Albuquerque, New Mexico, I'm Randy Jackson, News Channel 5.
All right, thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy. This, as you might expect, has been an emotional day for one of the victims of the Southside rapist. Sue Clayschulte was raped in her St. Charles home in May of 1995.
St. Charles prosecutors say DNA evidence links Dennis Rabbit to her attack. They charged him with the crime in November of last year. Sue Clayschulte has always asked us to conceal her identity in television interviews until today.
I'm very happy, thrilled. I mean, and one step closer to having this person off the street and put away, where he can't do any harm to anybody else.
Sue Clayschulte says she knew there'd been a break in the case when the news media first began paging her earlier today. Hearing Dennis Rabbit was in custody brought a flood of emotions.
Part of it was relief, part of it was overjoyed, and part of it was very sick to my stomach. I mean, you just have all these emotions bundled up, and you don't know which one to let take over.
Clayschulte says she never saw her attacker's face and doesn't want to see Dennis Rabbit face to face.
I don't have anything to say to Dennis Rabbit. I said it to him that night.
What did you say to him?
I started praying out loud, and I think it really startled him. And one of the last things he said to me was, "Do you forgive me?" And I told him yes.
How do you feel about going on camera for the first time?
I feel fine about it. I think it's time. It's just time, and I feel a great sense of relief that this man is finally off the street.
Clayschulte says she hopes Rabbit pleads guilty to the charges against him. She also hopes he spends the rest of his life in prison.
Dennis Rabbit's alleged crimes have also taken a toll on his family here in St. Louis. News Channel 5's Alex Fees talked with 18-year-old Katie Rabbit tonight about her father's capture.
Can I ask when the last time you talked to him was?
About 10 years.
Katie Rabbit does not exactly have a traditional parental relationship with her father, suspected Southside rapist Dennis Rabbit.
Is there any doubt in your mind about whether he is a Southside rapist?
I think it's pretty clear that it's him.
And why do you say that?
DNA evidence is it's pretty sure thing.
And now, since Albuquerque police have arrested the man they suspect is the Southside rapist, Katie's thoughts go out not to her father, but to his alleged victims.
It's such a relief. And I know for so many people, this moment couldn't have come too soon. So many people will be able to sleep more easily tonight. Just for their safety.
As you can imagine, being the daughter of a well-known rape suspect has been a difficult time for Katie Rabbit, but she knows people realize that the charges against Dennis Rabbit have nothing to do with her or other members of her family.
Sorry just isn't the word. I mean, there is no word to say how badly we feel about all of this. You can't understand something so horrible. And I hope that this has brought peace.
In St. Louis, Alex Fees, News Channel 5.
Of course, the next step will be for authorities to extradite Rabbit back to St. Louis.
Authorities have charged Rabbit with rapes in so many jurisdictions. The question will be who will prosecute him first. We continue our team coverage tonight with News Channel 5's Linton Johnson. He joins us from the newsroom with the prosecutor's dilemma. Linton?
Well, Kay, the first agency to file charges against Rabbit was Jefferson County, followed then by St. Louis City. Late last year, Jefferson County Prosecutor Bob Wilkins says he filed only a few charges against Rabbit, and since the city of St. Louis has the most, he'd be glad to hand Rabbit over to St. Louis police.
We have 40 warrants, and whether we get him first or second, we got 40 warrants that we're waiting on him.
At a news conference after Rabbit's arrest, police say right now they're just relieved Rabbit's behind bars. Authorities say the Southside rapist began terrorizing victims on the St. Louis City South Side in 1988. They'd say he'd enter a woman's home, sometimes through an open window, masked and armed, blinding victims by shining a flashlight in their eyes.
All of a sudden, the flashlight made an immediate turn right into my bedroom, right into my face, and a voice said, "Don't move or I'll kill you."
Authorities say the Southside rapist struck at least 21 times all over the metro area, leaving behind only his DNA. Well, last May, Collinsville police and the FBI say he got bold, calling 911, pretending to be a friend of the victim. Authorities believe this was his voice.
You actually know their name? Yes, I do. We're best friends.
Authorities also released this computerized sketch. But the real break in the case came in January of last year. Jefferson County investigators say he raped a woman in this grocery store parking lot and was later caught on store surveillance videotape. Authorities say a St. Louis police detective saw that video and recognized the man to be Dennis Rabbit, the same man, authorities say, who had given up DNA in a home invasion case. So they matched DNA from Dennis Rabbit with DNA from the Southside Rapist case, and then in November, they announced that Dennis Rabbit was indeed the Southside Rapist. But by that point, Rabbit was on the run. Authorities filed more charges, but never saw Rabbit again until today. And today, Jefferson County Sheriff Glenn Boyer said at the news conference that he's ready to work with the other agencies in the extradition process, but no one knows yet who will get to prosecute Rabbit first, if at all. Jeff from K, he can fight extradition.
All right, thank you, Linton.
Thank you, Linton. In other news this Sunday night, it was a St. Louis landmark for almost 70 years, and it came down this weekend in just seconds. The St. Louis Arena is just a pile of rubble tonight, one day after the old barn came tumbling down. A number of fans of the arena turned out this morning for a look at the aftermath, and they brought their cameras to complete their before and after photographs. Clearing the property will take much longer than imploding the arena. The process of removing the debris is expected to take about 4 months.
And you can take home a piece of the old arena. Spiritus Wrecking Company is selling commemorative bricks this week, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The company is located at 951 North Skinker Parkway. A brick costs $10. You can call 314-286-9689 for more information.
Well, they have been part of our government for 20 years. Coming up, see why some believe Ken Starr is the last of the independent councils.
And the search for a missing Massachusetts boy is over tonight.
Kay and Jeff, those very strong northwest winds are starting to slow down. We've got a little bit of cloud cover that is showing up right now, but all it is high-level clouds. We're on our way to a very nice Monday. I'll tell you all about it with the work week forecast coming up.
And I'm Mike Bush. Coming up tonight on Sports Plus, I go one-on-one with Mark McGuire as we cover a variety of topics. Plus, we've got Blues Blackhawks highlights, 70 years of memories from the arena, and Arch Madness from the Kiel Center. It's all coming up in about 15 minutes. We call it Sports Plus. We hope you'll stay up and stay tuned.
This is News Channel 5 at 10 with Jeff Fowler, Kay Quinn, Mike Roberts, and Sports Plus with Mike Bush.
An author of the Independent Counsel Act says it will probably die, and he blames Kenneth Starr. Michigan Senator Carl Levin helped write the law 20 years ago following the Watergate scandal. He spoke today on NBC's Meet the Press.
My great fear is that the excesses of Kenneth Starr have now made it almost impossible for us to reauthorize this.
The Independent Counsel Act will expire on June 30th if it's not renewed. St. Louis Congressman Richard Gephardt wants to create a trust fund to build and repair the country's parks. The bill, called Resources 2000, would provide more than $2 billion for parks.
The $31 million coming to Missouri every year, year after year, would really help us build these parks and restore them and refurbish them and keep the infrastructure up.
Gephardt also announced he's seeking a special $1 million grant for Forest Park. The money for Resources 2000 would come from royalties from offshore drilling.
A young boy went looking for his dog Thursday. An underwater recovery team found his body today. 9-year-old Corey Anderson disappeared in a Massachusetts snowstorm while searching for his pet. His body was found about 150 yards from his home on a creek bank surrounded by dense growth. The cause of his death is still under investigation. And a saintly investigation is underway on Mother Teresa. Pope John Paul II waived the mandatory wait of 5 years after death to begin the process of possible sainthood. The Archbishop of Calcutta will now gather information on the woman who devoted her life to the poor. The Vatican says the Pope agreed to the waiver because public demand for sainthood was so great.
Will March come in like a lion?
Mike has your forecast coming up next.
Well, this is the last day of February, but it sure feels more like spring than winter at this point, Mike.
And there's more coming. We're going to see progressively warmer temperatures tomorrow into Tuesday morning. Then a pretty good shot of cold air arrives Tuesday afternoon. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of snowfall at all. The only chance I think we really have is going to come Friday night, but we'll worry about that later. Meanwhile, a lovely day, but it was just so windy. That was the problem. While we did have lots of sunshine and a high of 51 degrees, never really felt that warm. Clear skies most of the day after a cloudy start. Now we've got some high-level clouds drifting in, complements of some warm air that's trying to push in this direction, and we are going to be warmer tomorrow. Today, most of the area was pretty close to 50 degrees, slightly cooler than that with 40s to the north of us. The northern third of Illinois had temperatures in the 30s. But these numbers are those that are pushing in this direction. We'll have highs in the 50s across our area tomorrow. A few spots will be even warmer than that, in the 60s down toward Rolla. And then as we head toward Tuesday, we've got a storm system pushing right at us. It will send us temperatures in the 60s in the morning, and then temperatures in the afternoon will really drop. You know what? As we head toward March, we're going to see plenty of pretty shots, especially in the western sky. As you watch the sun go down, at least on the computer, you should know that looking in the western sky about 30 minutes past sunset, you'll get a great look at 4 planets, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, lined right up next to each other, and then Mercury just below that. Again, that's about 30 minutes after sunset in the western sky. As it happens, we had some pictures shot by our own KSDK photographer Eric Voss of the planetarium on the north side of Highway 40. You're looking at the planetarium at the St. Louis Science Center, and as it happens, the St. Louis Science Center occasionally is the meeting place of the St. Louis Astronomical Society, and they would put you in touch with a pretty good look at some of those stars. Just the other day, they put me in touch with a nice look at Saturn. Anyway, over the top of the St. Louis metro region, we've got mostly cloudy skies, 41 degrees. A relative humidity is 60%. Winds are out of the northwest now at 7 miles an hour, and the barometer is falling. We did have a high of 51 degrees and a low of 40. It just never felt that warm because it was so windy. Take a look at these yellow lines on my map. Now, every one of these yellow lines is a line of equal pressure. We call those isobars. They're like rings on a tree. The more you have, the stronger the storm system is. And we know yesterday morning this was a very strong storm. But it is moving away from us. Now it's kind of centered over on the East Coast and up in Michigan. And as it moves a little bit farther away, winds are slowing down. We have temperatures in the 40s here. It's colder in Chicago, 36 degrees, and a little bit warmer to the west of us. Springfield, Missouri is 39. Kansas City is 44. The storm is still cranking out a lot of moisture, some snow in the northern portion of the lower peninsula, and some stormy weather over in the Carolinas. For us, though, we're looking at high pressure building in from the west now, and warmer temperatures, too. Now, this warm air is kind of pushing in this direction. The deep low pressure system with the strong northwest winds is far enough away from us to leave us alone. It will crank out more moisture tomorrow in the mid-Atlantic coast, and especially the northeast. But tonight, we'll see just a few clouds roll on by, and then tomorrow we'll be just fine with slower winds. Then on Tuesday, this cold front comes ripping across the region, and temperatures will really fall in the afternoon. Overnight then, just a few clouds, a low of 34 degrees, not so windy. Tomorrow, a very nice day with a high pretty close to 60 degrees. And as I mentioned, some areas south and west of the metro area actually may be warmer than 60 degrees. Heading into Tuesday, we will get warmer than 60 for everybody with a high of 63. But in the afternoon, temperatures will plunge. Along the way, we'll get some thunderstorms. On Wednesday, we'll clear off. Thursday, we'll go in the other direction with a few clouds, and then Friday, showers, storms, and Friday night, we may see some snowfall, but that's a long way off. St. Louis Astronomical Society. That'll put you in the touch with the stars.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And that ends this edition of News Channel 5 at 10. Thanks for joining us.
Now we turn you over to Sports Director Mike Bush and Sports Plus.
On the next cover story. For some, overeating is a serious, sometimes deadly illness. Now, a modern surgical approach to losing weight is gaining popularity and success. Kay Quinn shows you some St. Louisans who are winning at weight loss. Cover story, Monday at 10 on News Channel 5.